Hey, it is Elizabeth Off Grid, and today I was going to talk to you about living in a car with a migraine. So I get migraines. I've had migraines since I was a teenager. Probably actually had them when I was a kid too. But then they were just called headaches. So I've had really bad migraines in my life where I was having 20 or more migraine days a month. But I'm not like that now. I actually going through perimenopause has reduced the frequency of migraines a lot. But since I've been living in a car, I've had more, probably because, part of it's, I think, stress. But I think part of it is actually changing environmental conditions. So I'm going from, when I'm traveling, a different elevation, being at higher altitude, coming down, going back up again, being exposed to different humidities and different, literally just temperatures during the day, I think is creating a lot more sensitivity to migraines. So, and also I keep forgetting to take my allergy meds, and that's actually also one of my triggers, which is my allergy meds are the refill of my prescription is actually in my storage. I need to get it. So how do I deal with it when I have a migraine? Well, the reason I bring up my history a little bit is because the migraines I have now are not as bad as they used to be. I don't even have any prescription migraine meds anymore because I found that the side effects were worse than what my migraine pain is now. So I guess that's good. Anyway, this morning, I started feeling not good yesterday. So I use my Cefaly device. That's the main migraine thing that I use now, is a Cefaly device, which is a thing you place on your forehead. There's other ones that you place in other parts of your body, and they give electrical stimulation that makes me feel like pins and needles. And what it does for me personally is I use it every single day to reduce the frequency of migraines. And then when I have a migraine, I use it for an hour. The daily thing is 20 minutes. I use it for an hour to help reduce the pain of the migraine. It doesn't make it go away, but it does take it down a level. So it takes it from, if the pain scale, 0 through 10, if I have a 7, it takes it to a 5. If I have a 5, it takes it to 3, like that. This migraine when I got it, wasn't as much pain. And actually doing the Cefaly every day helps reduce the pain level of the migraines when I get them. So it was probably only a 4 or 5, and now I'm down to a 2. So it's not that bad at all. The main issue I have right now is I have all the other side effects of a migraine. So I'm sensitive to light and sound and smell and things touching me. So right now the sun is coming up. It's man, this sucks. I'm gonna put my sunglasses on in a minute. And things don't taste the same. All my senses are wrong. And then also I call myself stupid. My brain doesn't work right when I have a migraine. So I have to make sure that when I'm driving, I have to go slower and leave a lot of distance. So because my reaction time isn't quite right. And I also just, I can't work on client work. There's certain kinds of things I just can't do because I'm not clever. I lost my smartness. My brain just works slower, and it's like I'm thinking through molasses. I'll get it eventually, but I'm very slow. So today my plan was to do projects, specifically to work on my 10x10 storage. And I actually think I can still do that because I don't have to be that smart to do it. I already have a plan on what I'm going to do. So I have to go there and execute the plan. And it's just going to involve going through things and getting rid of things and taking things to donation. I actually want to take some things to electronics recycling. I don't really need to use my brain that much. I think I can still do that. And I'll feel good about the fact that I'm doing something. So that's something that I typically will do. If I have a 7, a pain at level 7, I will just suffer and watch videos and just try to pass the time until I no longer have a migraine. But if I have a pain like now where it's more 2 or 3, if I can keep it to that level, I can still do things. I just won't be doing work. I'll be doing things physical things, organizing things or errands or whatever, stuff that doesn't take me much intelligence to do. I might edit some video because I might be able to do that for a little bit too. We'll see. So I I don't know what time it is because I'm recording a video. I can't see the time since I'm recording a video, but I'm thinking it's before 7 a.m. My Campendium storage is open. It actually opens very early. It opens at 6. So what I think I'm gonna do is go over to Home Depot so I can go to the bathroom. Usually I go to the bathroom in the morning I already went to Planet Fitness, but usually I go to the bathroom in the morning at the park at 8 a.m. But I'm gonna go over my storage. My storage doesn't have a bathroom until the office opens, and I don't think the office opens until like 9. No, maybe I think it was open on Saturdays till 10. So I need to go to the bathroom before that. And do my first cut of working on the storage place. I also need to clean up in here. You can see it's still a mess from not just sleeping, but also from my last camping trip. I got back day before yesterday, and there's stuff like you can see my chairs right there. Like there's a lot of stuff that is actually camping things that need to go in my storage, and then stuff like the chair needs to just go in my trunk. But I have to like rearrange all that, and I haven't done that yet. I was gonna do that last night at the park, but I started to get a migraine and didn't reel up to it. So that's what my self-assignment is today. Also, my new camera that my business bought is coming today. So I will pick that up, and that's something to look forward to. And then I can record video not on my phone, so I can actually see what time it is or look at other things. And, you know, navigate or whatever it is I want to do on my phone without when I'm still recording video. So yeah, for me, I'll talk about this later in the day too, but for me, navigating living in a car with a migraine really depends upon how bad I feel. The worst part is actually not the pain when I'm in a car, because that would be the same if I was in a house or apartment, whatever. That just sucks. The worst part is the light and sound, for that matter. I can't get away from it. If it was overcast today, I would be so much better. When it's sunny, it's like, oh, this is just daggers in my head. The sun coming up. It sucks. I charged up my Cefaly device completely yesterday, and I used it one small time and then one big time after that. I used it before I went to bed. Or actually, I'd gone to bed and I used it for the first hour, which helped me to be able to get to sleep, so that's good. What if I had a migraine that was like a 7, and then I could only get it down to a 5 with over-counters or Cefaly device or whatever, then or if I couldn't get it down at all, then I would probably just park in the shade somewhere and just watch videos all day and just try to like exist. Typically migraines for me, now that I use the Cefaly device, it has reduced the length of migraines for me. So typically a migraine for me might last 1 day, but the max historically I've had is 4 days. So that is something to have faith about. Which probably sounds weird, but to know, okay, this isn't forever. Today's Saturday. So worst case, sometime on Tuesday or Wednesday, I would feel okay. And so, you know, I hope before then. I'm being interviewed on a podcast on Tuesday, so I really don't want to have to do that with a migraine. I also don't have to exist with a migraine, so I'm hoping that today will be the end of it. But worst case, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll feel better. And sometimes that's all what I do is just hang on and get through suffering to the extent I can, and, you know, just try to get through it. I actually am not feeling nauseous. I was able to have my normal breakfast, so that's actually very good. Sometimes I feel very nauseous. I have thrown up, but not, I mean, that's very rare for me. Sometimes I feel nauseous though, and I can't really eat very much of anything, and that makes it hard because with diabetes, the only things I feel like eating are things that are carby, you know, like bread or like just plain rice or something, which is not the best thing to eat. But I talked to the nurse practitioner, no, actually it was the nutritionist about that, about what do I do when I'm sick and I'm nauseous, and she's like, look, you just eat whatever you need to eat, because the sickness you have to get through. And also when you're in pain, your blood sugar is going to be all wacky anyway. So I don't even take my blood sugar on days when I have a migraine, because it's going to be terrible. Like no matter what I eat, I just eat my normal things if I possibly can eat them. And that's the best I can do. All right. I'm going to go off, find a bathroom, and then go to my storage, and we'll see how it goes. So about living with a migraine, my migraine's down, the pain's down to like a 1 or 2. It's actually really not that bad right now. So I've been being productive with my storage place, getting out electronics, take the electronics recycling. I found 3 boxes to be shredded, and I researched a shredding place. So these are the kinds of logistic things that I do a lot of times when I have a migraine, because I'm able to do that if I have a migraine with a low pain point. So let's talk about how to live with the migraine or any kind of chronic pain that comes and goes when you're in a car or any situation really, but especially when you're living in a vehicle. The thing is, you need to set things up ahead of time, so on the days you have your attack of pain or whatever it is, you're not having to like find the things that you need, because you already have them. So for example, I have Advil, I have Tylenol literally right here. I knew I was actually out of Advil, and so yesterday I went and bought some more before I got up. Like, thank goodness that I did that yesterday. But that's what I mean is whatever, getting your prescriptions refilled, making sure you have whatever meds you need. Same thing with like my Cefaly device, making sure that it's charged. I charged it up yesterday because I was starting to feel iffy, and so I made sure that I charged it up so that way if I need to use it, I'm able to use it. Having food that you can eat. So obviously I have food in the car because I live in my car, but making sure that I have some things that are kind of comfort food for when I feel nauseous. So I have things like rice and instant potatoes and soups and things that are very easy for me to eat even if I don't feel well. I have tortillas. I could just eat a tortilla. I mean, very simple foods. I always have applesauce. Part of that's for diabetes because I can eat one of the applesauce things and it's 15 grams of carbs, and in case I'm low, it'll snap me back up to okay, at least so far. But also applesauce is a really great thing to eat if you're nauseous. And so that's what I mean. I have ice packs, but you know what? The instant ice packs that I got, I really don't like. They don't stay cold for very long at all. So I'm going to be looking for a different solution for that. I miss having a freezer where I can put in, the ice things in there and then use that. I really miss that. That's one thing I miss about not having refrigeration or a freezer, is not being able to make ice packs either out of actual ice or out of, those gel things that you put in the freezer. So, but yeah, that's what I'm saying is having whatever comfort items you need to get you through your pain situation, whatever meds you need, making sure you have that stuff ahead of time in like a little packet, making sure it's accessible. I used to keep my Advil and Tylenol in the trunk in my first aid kit, and that was a mistake because if I start feeling bad in the middle of the night, I don't want to have to get out and dig through my trunk to get that. I need it here in the car. So now it stays in my junk basket, which is, this right here. It's not there right now because I took some this morning. So I just left them out so I don't have to dig through it again. I still have to dig through the junk basket, but at least it's here and I can get it. And I think that's the most important thing, is to plan ahead. Now, if I was feeling like if I had a migraine that was like a 7 or 8 and I didn't think I could take it by being out in the world, I would probably get a motel. I obviously can't afford getting a motel all the time. That's too much money. But if especially if it was like, let's say it was 100 degrees and sitting in my car, even in the shade, was absolute misery. Yeah, I think I would get a motel for a night or two to get me through it. I also do other things differently. I drive surface streets instead of highways because I want to drive literally slower. I'm just giving myself more time for everything and being patient with myself. And if I would love to be able to still cook my healthy food that I like to eat. But you know what? If today or tomorrow, whatever, however long I have a migraine, if I am not able to deal, especially tomorrow, it's going to be hot. I think tomorrow it's going to be in the low 90s. I'm not going to guilt myself in either financially or healthfully into not eating fast food if that's the only thing I can eat. If I need to go to Panera Bread and get soup and that's the only thing I can eat, which is hot, but sometimes I could go in there and be in the air conditioning and that might be something that I can eat. Someone asked me in one of my comments, and I'm going to answer her, I haven't answered it yet, what do you plan to do if you get sick? Like, and I'm thinking what she's asking about is gastro issue. You know, what if I'm vomiting and things? I would get a motel. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go throw up in public restrooms, and you might need to be thrown up a lot. So the thing that I actually worry about is food poisoning, because I've had food poisoning twice. I've also had toxin poisoning. So I had a non-stick pan that I forgot and left on the heat, and then old school non-stick pans give off toxic fumes. The ones that they have now are actually different, but these are like this is from like years ago, and filled up the kitchen with these toxic fumes, and I breathed them in, and I was poisoned. I should have actually gone to the doctor, but I didn't, because it's the United States and medical stuff is expensive, and I was like, I don't want to spend the money on it. But I was poisoned. Like, I really should have. Now I have Kaiser, and I would actually go. That's one of the things I love about Kaiser, is I feel like I can actually go to the doctor now, because it's all integrated into the HMO. Anyway, I've had that where I've had days where I was nauseous and vomiting and having all the troubles and couldn't eat and everything. And yeah, I think I would get a motel room if that happened, or if I had some other kind of vomiting kind of sickness, or diarrhea kind of sickness. I would get a motel room to get over it. But hopefully that won't happen for a while. Knock on wood, knock on leather. But that's what my plan is if I got sick that way. If I was in a really, really remote place and there was not any motels, I would go to a campground that has flush toilets. But I would rather be in a motel, so I have my own kind of exclusive toilet. All right, so I'm going to kind of chill out here, do some morning routine things that I feel like I'm capable of doing, pass the time until I can go and donate these electronics. So I got Panera Bread. I got soup at Panera Bread because my head hurts too much to figure out what I was gonna eat. That's one of the things when I have a migraine, it's really hard to eat enough food. So I got the cream of chicken wild rice. So I actually had a little bit of chicken in me and everything. I'm not even worried about my blood sugar because it's going to be high anyway because of the pain. So it's not even a point. And so I also used cash for that. So I have kind of a stash of cash that's for emergencies, when I am having troubles, when I have a migraine, and so I can get takeout or buy myself something I need or whatever with this kind of emergency supply of cash. And it's cash because I took a whole bunch of cash out because I was going to do the envelope way of managing money, and I just realized it's actually inconvenient to pay with cash all the time, like at gas stations and stuff. However, it's nice to have this cash where if I need to go spend $9 to get some soup, I can, and not have it kind of impact my $17 a day budget, which I'm not at $17 a day yet. I'm at like more than twice that, but I'm getting close. Paring things down as time goes on and developing it. But yeah, I think having migraines and other things like that and also mental health things are medical, and I regard medical as being outside my normal day, outside my normal budget. So I still have a migraine, but it's more like a 2 still. And I was able to be somewhat productive today. Got a bunch of work done on my 10x10 and storage. Went through multiple boxes, took stuff to the shredding place, and took stuff to the recycling, for electronics recycling. I was also able to edit a video and get it uploaded. So I mean, I did really good today, considering. So now I'm driving back to the park. There's a few things that I want to do, but the number one most important thing I want to do is use my Cefaly device for an entire hour. So it is about 6 o'clock, so I'll get there a little bit after that. And then I already went to the bathroom when I was over by the library, so I'm good to go in that way. I'm pretty much just going to tidy up in here, and then after I park in the shade, and use my Cefaly device for a full hour. At that point, it'll be a little after 7, and then I'm just going to have a snack. I've eaten a fair amount today, and I did a number of takeout things, which is not my usual. So I've consumed enough food. I'll just need a snack before I go to bed. I'll just have like a protein bar or something. So that way it'll tide me over to the morning. And yeah, I have my over-the-counters right here, very accessible. So if I need to take them right before I go to bed, I can take some more, take some Advil or something. But hopefully I'll be able to get a good night's sleep and be able to get to bed a little bit earlier than last night. And then we'll see how I am in the morning. And really, that's, managing migraines is not in a car, is not radically different than in a house, except you can't escape the light as easy, and you can't escape the weather, the heat or whatever it is as easy, and the noise and all that stuff. It's the environmental factors that are more acute when you're living in a vehicle. If I had a terrible migraine, like a 7 or something, I might go ahead and get a motel so I could cocoon up in the darkness, But with a 2 to a 5, I might just stay out in the world, but take it easy to the extent that I need to. The thing is, one of the reasons I'm productive on a day like this when I'm like at a 2 is because that actually makes me feel better, and it's distracting from the pain. I forget that I have that pain while I'm focused on stuff to the extent that I'm able to focus. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Wish me luck. And if you are someone who is suffering from migraines, I wish luck to you too. Later.